Alright, you white motherfuckers, all eyes on me. This is the I Refuse podcast.
So, I gotta, leave with some level of awareness before we go to let y'all know what's going on in this society that we are living in right now. Um, so first and foremost, um, they just voted 310 to 58 to pass a resolution honoring Charlie Kirk as a courageous American patriot who sought to elevate truth. And I find this to be real interesting. Your scare tactics are not going to work on me because I don't really give a fuck. You can't silence me. And I don't work for you people, and nor am I going to stand by and allow anybody to think that they can take my freedom of speech if we're talking about what freedom of speech is supposed to be. So we all know about the assassination last week. We all know that the person was caught because I think the last time we recorded, they had a name and they released the person. I mean, not released them, but they arrested the person. We all know what the person looked like. I really don't give a damn about the fact that he lived with a trans person or or you can't sit here and make me believe that he is a radical leftist when he simply said that he hated this specific person. He hated what the person stood for. He hated that person. And therefore, he took his actions out on the person that he hated, not a group of people. Um, if y'all have not noticed, and it's really a slippery slope when you play these type of political games, and you always have to be prepared for the fact that when you initiate the ability to do certain things and be able to use your voice and make things move, understand that it can be taught behavior and that they can do the same thing against you. So since all of this has happened and we've seen the different reactions from all sides, right, left, and anything in between. um you know I sat and I watched the news that day and had to turn it off because you you cannot sit here and have me be aware of the things or the ideologies that this man put out in the world and then turn around and make me believe that he was a good person. That doesn't work for me. Um, and it's amazing to see both sides of it, knowing that he was a problem and he was a threat to people, and his words did incite emotions and disrespect and hate. And we're not gonna dumb down who he was, but to see both sides praise him as if he wasn't a part of the problem bothers me. Which again, all circles back to it doesn't matter whether you are Republican or Democrat, as long as you are a politician. We all know what politicians do, right? But then you want to take it even further by trying to fast track a recognition of this person and push for them to give him a national holiday. And it's funny because I just said I would not be surprised if that's what they attempt to do. We are living in a world now where hate speech is considered first, freedom of speech and First Amendment rights. And your reaction to hate speech is being considered a violation. it's considered illegal. You're losing your jobs. You're being put on watch lists. You're getting visas revoked and so on because you now don't agree with the rhetoric of somebody else. We are in a further stage of deconstruction. Because if y'all didn't think that when deconstructing the government meant that the amendments would stay the same, you are truly completely unaware of the capacity that this means. Um, remember I said last week that they were going to make him a martyr, like they were going to be his conservative Christian martyr, like that's what they were going to do. It's giving Handmaid's Tale. It's giving Scandal. It's giving. They are now using this man's death to further force silence on other people, to heighten the voice of other people, all in the name of hate. So if you're not paying attention, you do understand, like we show you every week, you can do both. You can be like be involved and pay attention to entertainment, but don't let it 100% consume you that you don't understand and know what's going on in your country and how it directly affects you. So, you know, there are people who YouTube is removing their podcast from off of their platform for comments that were made about how they felt about this specific person. I've never seen such a reaction like this before. Like it's really interesting to see as it's happening. It's really interesting to see as it happens. But just pay attention to where the blame is being pointed and also be aware of the facts that's put out there. This was not a DI hire. This was not a person that was trying, like they're trying to make it seem like, oh, because he had a transgender roommate and something about the furry communities and his ideologies is different from his conservative Mormon family. Of course they're gonna paint it as radical. Of course they're gonna group it all together instead of it simply being, like I said from the beginning, a person hating another person to a point that they decided to take that hate out on them. This wasn't a group thing. This wasn't a grand scale. I get the conspiracy theories. I get all of it. But ultimately, that man expressed his true feelings towards Charlie Kirk, and he found an opportunity and he took it. It's not a right or left thing. But of course, because politics and propaganda, they are going to make you believe that it's one side against another side instead of its own side fighting against its own side.
Which has got to be a kick in the head for y'all.
To hear, was it the governor or mayor, whoever it was in Utah, talking about that, I was just praying that it wasn't one of us. What does that mean? One of who exactly? Like what exactly does that mean? And how do you associate someone who is vocally saying, I do not like what this specific person is saying, and associate it with another side? Because I haven't heard you say or you give any examples that shows that he's a radical left as you keep naming him. So we we see what y'all trying to do, and people wake the fuck up. It's a lot going on. You can do both. Be aware. Know the difference. And know, understand like what the limitations is to the freedom, the First Amendment Act, and the difference between opinions and hate speech and what is protected under the First Amendment. Jimmy Kimmel, I would sue. I would sue
That part.
personally.
Because let me tell you, the FCC and their current chairman, that decision was out of their jurisdiction. Like the FCC cannot ban or prohibit or censor. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't censor a person.
Just I wanted to be clear. If you're telling us that the words that Charlie Kirk spoke is him using his First Amendment rights, then the reaction to it applies the same way. You see what I'm saying? Like you you can't sit here and say that it is illegal in any way, whether it be somebody praise the person that he was or they celebrate the fact that he's gone. If it's not inciting some type of violence or, you know, defaming a person or like nobody that brought him up defamed his character. The words that they quoted is what he said. But understand that the very thing of, you know, cancel culture, right? And this is why I've always said cancel culture is a very like a very, very, very tricky thing because there are absolute reasons where people should be held accountable for their actions and the things that they say. But when you start to play with white people's livelihoods, did you not think that they were going to find some type of way to get that shit back? And this is the perfect opportunity for them to be able to. The very same rules and guidelines that have been put in place in order for cancel culture to be a thing is the very thing that they're using on a political level that will have far more detrimental effects on you now than it did simply canceling those. Because guess what? When you cancel those people, what did the conservatives do? They embraced them and gave them a platform. The
And
question is now that these things have happened for people like Steve Colbert, for people like Jimmy Kimmel, for people like Don't Call Me White Girl, like there are multiple people who have lost their platforms or lost their jobs for doing the same thing that you said was okay for someone else to do. Make it make sense. Because but you said and but you did tit for tat shit ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. All it's doing is trying to force people to fall in line. It's another scare tactic. It's another way to silence you. It's another way for you to be forced to fall in line. The question is what is important to you? What moral ground are you willing to stand on in order to be able to make sure that the rights that you were told that you have, that you actually stay? Or do we sit by and allow it to be another situation of this administration and this government doing what the fuck they want to do, when they want to do it, however they want to do it, for whatever reason they want to do it? We know it. We've talked about it for God knows how long. It's been instilled in us through our ancestors and beyond. We know what it looked like. So now what? And that's where I'll end that at.
I'll just continue my point. This is really not, for a lot of reasons, this is not a good look for the head of the FCC, and definitely not a good look for oh boy that heads the FBI. Because one thing that should never mix with your job is your personal beliefs or your political beliefs and who you follow or your ideologies. That's what's called a conflict of interest. Um, like you're showing your hand when you make a decision against an employee who is an artist. Um, there's no greater demographic of artists that exercise free speech. Those are comedians and entertainers. Um, they're not held, they shouldn't, first of all, be held to the same standard of a corporate employee or one of us regular Joes out here. Because the it's apples and oranges. So there's that. Then on top of that, you couldn't leave well enough alone. Like you made the decision. There's really nothing any of us outside of the equation can do about it. But this is how I know this was nothing more than sucking off your leader. Which, by the way, he is looking noticeably darker, a darker shade of orange these days. At some point, I feel like he is going to pivot into walking around out here looking like
A full Cheeto?
An old catcher's mitt.
He's going to be a full Cheeto.
Because his lifeline is y'all getting on y'all knees to suck him off.
Yep.
And this is what y'all do. And this is how I know this is what it was about. When after you fired this man, and not only him, hundreds of the staff, the production staff, the employees, who too have families and people to feed, you placed another, I'll say, a roadblock or a caveat to the equation where it's like, okay, well, we fired you. This isn't a stipulation or a requirement for you to come back because that's not on the table. But if you could, you would have to give an apology to the family, but also donate copious amounts of monies to his foundation that his widow is now the CEO of. Which I'm no Susie Orman, but I'm willing to bet none of that money actually goes to any worthy cause outside of fillers for her face. Because let me tell you, I've been on this earth 43 years. I have yet to see a mannequin cry. Abstract, are you there?
I am here.
I'll say it again. I have yet to see a mannequin cry. So for his widow to be up there behind the podium with the little napkin and stuff, no tears in sight, it's too many damn fillers.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'll say it again. I have yet to see a mannequin cry. So this is how you know. And the other thing is, I'm not normally, like I said, I'm not normally in white people business, but for y'all to be going out for Jimmy Kimmel by, canceling your Disney Plus and your Hulu's and anything that's affiliated with ABC, I'm like, okay, come in. Hey,
Hello.
thank you. Mr. Gray has made an appearance with whiskey.
Hi, Mr. Gray.
Hey. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. You are now speaking on the Usual Suspects podcast.
Woohoo!
Well, not that voice. Thank you for the whiskey delivery, sir. But back to what I was saying. Like, when it comes to, I guess, solidarity and, by canceling or don't shop here, don't buy here from this day, we're going to put, we're going to make them pockets hurt. You're not. And my question to those of you out there that are doing this shit and, in alignment with support of Jimmy Kimmel, which is cute. Are y'all going to stop going to Disney World and Disneyland? And are y'all going to like burn your
No.
Disney films?
Mm-mm.
Because y'all love a Lion King. Y'all love like, because when you actually think about it, and I think I may have touched on this in a previous episode, when you actually think about it, Disney and ABC have their hands in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of y'all out here would not survive a hunger strike
Shut up.
or a gasoline shortage. I'm just saying, like, it, while it's noble, like, to take in the full reality, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these companies out here, a lot of the places that you work for, a lot of the products you buy, I'm just saying, like, Hulu is
It's
not hurt for money and ABC is not hurt for money.
the thing is that it's with I don't think people understand. Like I get, the idea of boycotting things and stuff like that. I think people just don't when they say it, they don't really understand the full magnitude it takes, like what it means to fully boycott something and how much you have to boycott in order for you to make a statement. It's not as simple as, oh, we're going to boycott ABC. No, that comes along with Disney. And what else comes along with Disney? Disney. Anything affiliated with Fox, anything affiliated with National Geographic, anything affiliated with ESPN, anything affiliated with FX, anything affiliated with Marvel, anything affiliated with Star Wars, like all of these things, Pixar, are under this umbrella. Are you really willing to let go of these things while it is just mostly simply entertainment? But again, like you said, are you going to stop going to Disney World? Are you really, really going to stop supporting all of the things in order to truly make the statement? Or are you only going to do it for a temporary moment because it sounds good and for a day?
Like, nobody dislikes that guy, the man that just is turning different colors. Which, by the way, um, is it me? Or, like, I think I know why he's got that stuff all over his body. Because in reality, he's actually turning pale.
I mean, in reality, he already was pale.
Because word on the street is that man has congestive heart failure. So if a pow don't get him, the evilness in the heart will probably win. Sometimes you just gotta let natural selection just take its course.
Yep.
Just let it do what it do. It's already done kicked off, so I think it's just a matter of time. Because
it's crazy. Y'all will blame everything except for the shit that people bring on themselves as a reason for their death. It's crazy. Like, that they blamed witches for Charlie Kirk. Now, not even just the radical left, but witches. Because of some shit that they saw on Etsy.
You know what? I gotta go. Surely somebody out there has an effective voodoo doll.
Surely somebody out there understands that that's not quite how that works. Y'all just didn't want to accept the fact that it was your own clear kind that was responsible for it.
Listen, that's all I got. Ain't gotta say no more. I think I said more than enough. We even gave out like an extra hour. Because we really need to have this conversation. Look, I get it, but y'all don't have the stamina.
Nope.
Y'all, I get that y'all not cool with the censorship. But understand that when the shoe was on the other foot and there was another comedian that was exercising his free speech, y'all were ready to throw tomatoes, nail him to the cross, call him all kinds of names and stuff. But when it's Jimmy Kimmel, it's like, let's cancel the Hulu, the Disney. Right. And I think I actually know who I'm talking about. I mean, I guess y'all don't like authoritarian unless it's one of y'all and it's over something y'all like.
Yep.
If it's somebody you don't like, oh, they're not funny. This other person's also a comedian. Y'all were acting just like the FCC man. Just let that marinate, the hypocrisy.
All the time.
So ask yourself, am I the drama?
That was cute. I like how you did that.
I'm Mr. Fox.
I'm the abstract stage talents.
And you know where to catch us.
Peace out.
Till next time.
Love y'all.
No, we don't. I don't love them hoes. Fendi, like the bag. This is the I Refuse.